Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to our live podcast, Landscaping to the Point. We are live with JC over there in the top, Josh down there, and it looks like he's in a garage, in a shed. Who knows where he's at again this week? And me live from Live World here. So, yep. So, how you guys doing today? How's everything going? Warm enough yet for you guys?
Sun's out. Happy Labor Day, everybody.
Happy Labor Day. It is a Labor Day. It is actually the third day of September. Hopefully, you guys are getting ready for fall. And who knows what else will be coming soon. Hopefully, snow. There's a whole bunch of stuff coming on. So I'm going to jump right into my first topic. Hopefully, we can get some more people on here. It's going to be a great topic today. And then we're going to jump into a couple other things. We're going to talk about football this week. We're going to talk about leaf cleanups coming up soon. Who knows what we're going to talk about? But the first topic I got is rules for dating. Okay, so I got this real question I want to ask you and everybody else out there in the audience. So I have three kids, a daughter, which is around like 17, and an older son that's 20. He hasn't dated yet at all. So, I haven't really had to worry about dating. But now my daughter is getting to the point where she wants to date, and a boy asked her out for homecoming. So, yeah. Yeah. So I'm trying to be sensitive, but I've always joked around with her that I could dig a hole and, just bury him if I had to, or, um, shotguns, clean my shotguns in front of her, like my grandfather told me. Um, you know, so kind of, I'm at that point, like I wanted her to go out and, date, but I kind of am looking for your guys' rules and tips for dating. I know, Josh, you have two daughters, and Jensen, you had a sister. So did you either of you guys have any rules or tips for dating? Hmm.
All right.
Josh is
So
thinking about this one. He's got to
this is
really think.
interesting because there's a story behind this topic this week. Obviously, you're talking about your daughter
Yeah.
um, being asked to, was it homecoming?
Homecoming. Yep. 2 weeks. Homecoming is. So yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It's one of those things. I mean, she's gone last year. This is her junior year. So I mean, she wants to go this year. But she kind of told me that she really wants a date for prom, which isn't not till next year, which
Mm.
is not a problem. But like I said, she said this boy had asked her out. So now I'm kind of like, okay, I want to be nice and say go for it, but I'm like also like I
Yeah.
feel like I need to meet the boy first too.
So there's two sides of this, right?
Hmm.
And just looking from the outside in, I like to say that a lot. The good thing is someone asked her, and
Right.
you're not stuck trying to explain to her, if someone didn't ask her, and she's
Right.
feeling bad about it while all her friends are going. So, at the very, that is a good thing. I can't speak much on the topic as far from a father perspective.
Right.
And I think that's part of the reason why Josh left the chat because he wants to avoid the topic altogether.
I think so.
Because he wasn't ready for it. Obviously, for those of you that are listening, like we don't have a heads up as to what these topics are when we get into this podcast. So everything is kind of just like off the cuff.
Yeah, I
Um,
think this whole podcast is more of a random thing. We don't script stuff. When we talk to people, when we interview people, we don't have a script that we actually sit there and go off of. It's we just talk to people and we talk about our random stuff. I mean, it's more of how life is and how the businesses go and stuff. So
yeah,
I
I
think
could give you my brother perspective later on. I think I'm gonna deflect this one
to
to
Josh,
Josh once he settles in here. I don't know what he's doing with his
yeah,
camera, but
I think it's that shed that he's in.
It's
yeah.
mom coming to you live from mom's attic.
Yeah, I'm a younger brother, so and again, I'll talk about it more in a little bit. But
Okay.
I was kind of an asshole whenever my sister brought someone new over the house. I was an asshole to her and to the guy. So
Right.
just because I was trying to be protective, but
See,
came
I was the
across.
older brother, and I wasn't around as much because pretty much there's a 13-year difference between me and my sister. So, I mean, I wasn't around when she first started dating. So, but I feel like if I was, I'd be that brother. Like, hey, you mess up my sister, I'm coming after you. You know, and I think I know at one point me and my brother did say something to one of her boyfriends, like, hey, if you pissed her off, you make her cry, we're coming after you. And he kind of like was scared all shitless and was very nice the rest of the time that he dated her. So it was one of those things that when she introduced me to him, he was kind of like, oh wow, you have a older brother and he's big, he's like huge, and like this is not what I expected. So it was kind of one of those things.
It's like
So
that scene in Bad Boys 2. I think that's like the most famous scene is
yeah.
when Reggie comes over, or the other kid comes over to try to pick up the daughter, and Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are playing the roles. I thought that was,
Yeah, that is a very good scene. So Josh, your point, your tips, your rules, your thoughts, if you're available to talk.
I am. I was trying to get my AirPods to work because I can barely hear the I could barely hear the phone. But yeah. So I got two kids. One about to turn a teenager in a few weeks, and a teenager who's going to graduate high school this year. Who, as far as I know, has like her first real relationship through high school. So, well, obviously for me, this was hard to kind of fathom. I lucked out with COVID on my side for this, where her going into freshman year, COVID happened. So it wasn't really a freshman year. Sophomore year, same thing. Junior year, that's when everything started happening. But rules for dating, there's too many. I mean,
I know it's
more or less, it's like when you're out, like, still hold yourself together, like, understand that, like, people see you outside, like the whole PDA thing, you pause on it, hold yourself to a standard. Obviously don't feel pressured to do anything you don't want to do. This curfews and stuff, like, I have an indirect talk with her about things, like, basically, like, just don't be fucking stupid. Don't
right.
be stupid. And, it's at the end of the day, and I hate doing it, but it's like, kids go through this puppy love phase where it's like, you got to realize what it is. Like, you're in high school, you get the rest of your life ahead of you. Maybe you are high school sweethearts and it goes forward. And if not, like, you go to college and it's something different. It's trying to think like the big things. Obviously, I wasn't the greatest boyfriend to girls through high school, and I don't want my daughters to reflect that. You know what I mean? As far as, like, I don't want them dating.
Right.
Like, one of my big thing with my oldest is, like, you get, chivalry's not dead. Like, don't be one of those, he doesn't have to open the door. He has to do this. He doesn't have to, but it's out of respect, So make sure that he respects you. At any point, he doesn't respect you. Like, now remember, my daughters are all high belts in jiu-jitsu and stuff. So they can kind of hold their own. But it's more or less, respect you, make sure, you're taking care of when you're out, that they're aware, they're alert of their surroundings. I picked her up at her boyfriend's house a few weeks ago, and I was a little disappointed and very aggravated. In mind you, Josh 10 years ago, that, like, I would already have the whole dog and been talking from outside the hole. So this takes a lot for me to do. I think even my daughter and my wife were a little surprised how I took this. But I picked her up. The door opens. He says goodbye. She walks down. He shuts the door. That was a big no-no for me. It's nighttime,
Right.
50 feet away. She gets in the car. I go, what was that? She goes, what was what? I said, he doesn't walk you to the car. I was like, that's not a gentleman. You need someone that's going to show you that respect, walk you to the car. A lot of guys say, oh, no, I don't fucking do that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you do.
Right.
It's just out of respect. That's what I would do. That's what I expect. I hold my daughter's boyfriends to a high fucking standard, and you better meet that.
Right.
Because otherwise, for me, you're out the door. It's going to be a big problem. He knows my demeanor and all that stuff. She must have said something to him, because every time now, at least 5 or 6 times I picked her up, he's walking her right to that door. There's no question. So certain things like that was more or less respect yourself and make sure they respect you. Don't feel like you're ever backed into a corner. I grew up and I seen some stupid shit through teenagers and what happens in these relationships. And it's more or less like, listen, you got the whole world in your hands with people and dating. So don't feel you have to be like locked down.
Yeah, that's. I just it's hard. I mean, I always, like I said, I've always joked around with her, from the literally from when she was a kid, and I think she's afraid to come to me because she knows I'm more of that person that, like, I've always been that person. Like, I'm more of an angry person, and if it came down to it, I'm gonna back her up 100%. And if
But
something happens, you
Poppy,
know,
and where you are with that is exactly how it was when I was little. Like, I'll get the shotgun out, my buddies will be at the door. I stopped that going into teenage years because someone had told me where it's like you want her to be able to approach you and talk an issue. The more and more you joke around, like, I'm gonna kill the motherfucker, even joking around, they take
right.
that. You know what I mean? So, they're gonna go, well, I don't want my dad popping off and going crazy. You know what I mean? So it's like if you leave that door wide open, then they'll come to you, like, so what's going on in their life, because you don't want them to deal with that shit in the background. You never know if they're dealing with an abusive boyfriend, if they're dealing with a mentally abusive boyfriend, or they just don't know what to do in a situation and they feel pressure to be intimate or anything. You want them to come to you so you can actually guide them.
Right.
I think a lot of the times they tend to venture towards their mother. But again, I've talked before, male perspective is a big thing. So you want your daughter to get male perspective from you and how they should be and the standard they should hold. I think that's huge. And that's one thing I feel. I don't think my daughters can come to me for everything, and I don't want them to come to me for everything. That's what mom's there for. But certain things with like demeanor and what they're doing with their lives as far as like boyfriend, girlfriend, and if they are having issues like an argument, like I've given her my perspective, what I dealt with as a young age and how teenage boys are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I was, I bounced all over the place. So I would definitely, cut back on the ball busting, or have that little joke between you. It's just that one specific joke and more or less keep the door open.
Do you guys ever look at it from, obviously you two have daughters, and as parents, naturally, you're going to want to protect them as much as you can and worry about them. But do you ever give suggestions to the other end of it, like how your daughter should treat the boyfriend, or
Absolutely.
like, is she being mean to him, or is she ignoring him, or is she, like things like that, not, I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100% I try to put it both ways, so it's not just I'm giving you my perspective as a dad, what I expect from my daughters to get. But yeah, I expect them to give respect, listen, be supportive, be there, even if, like, it is a puppy love, that's how you want to be, like, that's your friend, that's your partner as a young age. So yeah, it's like hold, be responsible, hold your demeanor correctly, and also be respectful, and what you should do. But at the end of the day, you come first. Your well-being,
Right.
your happiness comes first.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, we mess around, we joke around, we hit each other. She hits me all the time, and I'm always. It's it's not like she's mean about it, but it's like she knows that, like, I can tap her like gently, and she'll come around and beat me up and stuff. And I said, you can't be this way to other guys. Like, you can't just be, think, the way she acts sometimes. I'm like, you can be fine with me, like, you can be cruel with me or whatever, but don't be cruel to somebody else. Be nice to them, I don't want her to get hurt. And I tell her that, you got to be nice to people and respect them, like you said. So, I mean, definitely. So, uh, Jensen. So, being a little brother, was it hard for you totally on that aspect? I mean, being a brother, I mean, yeah, it's hard when your sister goes out and dates. So,
Mm.
what about you now? Do you have rules and tips for dating girls?
Yeah. So when I was little, and maybe even still now today, I've always been kind of a jerk to my sister, but it was as weird as it sounds, it was almost in a loving way, in a caring way, because when she first started dating, I not only tried to make her life miserable, but I tried to make his life miserable. But it was really, it was really my way of protecting her. Like, I felt like, I didn't want, anybody to come into her life and hurt her. Like I was the only one that could give her shit.
Right.
And so it was in that sense. But yeah, I mean, I think, you know, whether it's a parent, sibling, or anybody that you care about that's getting into that part of their lives where they're dating somebody, like you're always obviously want to make sure that their well-being is taken care of, and you're going to want to, you know, be able to support them in anything that they go through and give them advice. And it's tough being a younger brother because your older sister doesn't want to listen to you for advice, you know? So it's like,
Right.
it's one of those things, but it's hard because like you got to get to a point in life and where you're accepting that other people are going to be involved in your lives and your family and whatnot. And an example of that is my sister's married. She's been happily married for over a decade now. And I have a 6-year-old nephew, through my brother-in-law, and my sister. And it's funny because my sister's husband, he's you couldn't ask for anybody better for your sister to be married to, you know, and that's the kind of guy he is. He's a straight shooter and he's very respectful. So it was weird. My father never talked to us as kids about the birds and the bees and never got that type of stuff. So my brother-in-law, when he first expressed his interest about my sister, or, you know, he came to me and, you know, kind of asked me for my blessing. And that was one of, you know, and he didn't have to do that. By no means
Right.
did he have to do that, but that's the kind of guy he is. And it's funny because the thing I said to him was in all honest truth. Like I said, you know, I'm not concerned about, you know, you towards her. I'm concerned about her towards you because she's a jerk. but I but I meant that in a joking manner. I'm like, my sister's nuts, dude. Why do you want to get with my sister?
Right.
She's
Right.
freaking crazy. No, and she's not crazy. I just you know, just busted her chops or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, so, you know, and that was cool. I think he was more relieved about, you know, opening that up because I'm sure it took you know, he was probably trying to process what he wanted to say to me and how to go about and approaching me and being thrown off that way in a joking manner, you know. So that was my way of letting him know, yeah, it's cool, you know, like, you know, and we're, you know, we're brother-in-laws now, and he's a good guy, and so it was one of those things. But prior to that, when my sister was kind of first dating, like, yeah, there were, you know, she went through her phases where she kind of met different people here and there, and, you know, some of the guys that she brought home, you know, weren't, I don't think, in my opinion, the best guys, and, you know, maybe, you know, they were portraying themselves to be different towards her, but I guess what I'm trying to say without getting overly complicated is that you have to have trust in them and
Right.
allow them to make their own decisions and experience life themselves. They will make mistakes and we can't protect them all the time. You have to allow some of those things to happen so that they can experience things and become better people. So, you know, and I wouldn't imagine how it's like to be a parent, but I think, knowing now, being an adult, and, you know, my own experiences, I think that the best thing that you could do is just share what you've gone through, you know, and hope that they don't make the same mistakes that you've made.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I sat there and just listened to her yesterday and give her my thoughts on it. And, you know, she rather just get to know the boy first before going on a date. And I agree with her. That's fine. I mean, there's no problem with that. There we go. Yeah. Are you back, Josh? Finally? I mean, we had this good conversation and you just missed it all.
Yeah, we got deep, Josh.
We
We
got
got
deep.
deep.
I mean, we
You
really
know what it is?
found out
He's
deep with
not
it.
having any camera issues. He just, like, the sentiment is really getting to him. It's the allergy season for him right now, and he's
Yeah.
sucking every time that he gets emotional.
I had a pooper moment. My camera went forward. I couldn't figure out how to turn it around.
Bullshit.
Oh, I don't believe that one. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but
It's
yeah,
all right.
like what you were saying, Scott, I think it's like, yeah, you know, you can only do so much.
Right.
you know.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, like you said, you can't be there all the time, but you hope that they make the right decision. And in life, you sometimes you do make mistakes, but you learn from them, and that's the main thing. I mean, even in business, I mean, we make mistakes and we learn from them. Josh has made a million mistakes and he's still learning, and that's it's everybody does it. It's just normal, business. So we just keep going with it, and we learn, and that's how you continue to live your life. Everybody does that. So and I'm trying to be there, to be that supportive dad, and I'm here for her to listen to, and I've always told her that I'm here to listen to her. I mean, yeah, we joke around a lot, and I try to joke around a lot because that's the way I was kind of brought up. But I'm there to try to listen to her, and that's what that's what I am. So
How's the communication with about that with your wives? Like how do you I mean, Josh and your wife, like how do you talk about your daughter starting a date, and Scott and your wife, like what's the conversation like between the parents?
Like the initial conversation when like it started happening,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, oh fuck, like here we go. Like we just know how we were when we were kids, and I feel like it's different now for kids, like because it's such a social. I feel so fucking old saying that, but like because it's such a social media age, like the actual human interaction isn't really there. Like a lot of kids, like a girlfriend and boyfriend,
yeah.
but they're actually like held hands or like gone on a date. They're just talked on like whatever platform, but the communication between me and my wife had to be open, where if something was said that we could share amongst one another, if there was an issue going on, we would clearly discuss it, and as a team try to figure out how to approach it. Obviously at that time when she was going into like high school and really starting to like discover boys or whatever, it was I was like Scott, I was that angry dude that was not approachable about this stuff. And I mean, I'm definitely 100 times better than I was, but it more or less came to my wife of like my wife told me how to approach it, especially her growing up as a 14, 15-year-old teenager, and how she wished it would have been approached. And she wasn't given the talks and stuff. So like even now, like with my daughter, like I'll drive her to school, we'll be together, she'll come work with me or something, and it's like, hey, like your mom had to talk with you, right? Like you don't need like a refresher, like she gave you like kind of like the G-rated version. Like you need like the adult version where like so you what's going on, and like, oh my god, dad, what the, come on, like no. But my wife and I talk about like that, like is she educated enough, does she know, are the doors open for her to speak to us, and I feel they are. And like I said, she'll come to me for a lot of stuff, a lot of that personal stuff she'll go to her mom, and her mom will bring that to me unless it's something that needs to be completely in confidence between the two of them. Then she will come to me and talk to me, especially if it's a major issue or something small that's going to affect her demeanor or something in school or her EC or anything. So
Do you
Yeah.
guys ever like embarrass your kids like while you're eating or something, and like, I think that boy likes you?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She has some crushes, and she knows that I know who they are. And we go to certain things, and she's like, "Don't embarrass me here. I don't want to get embarrassed." But it's like a lot of the kids at her school know me. They know my name. I mean, I literally went to one of the games weeks ago, and they're literally yelling my name. And it's like they know who I am. They know, that I've coached for soccer. I'm part of the school, stuff. So it's not totally about me. It's about her, and I want her to be safe, and know that I'm trying to be nice and not mess around as much as I can. And my wife pretty much told me yesterday when we sat down and talked, it was like, hey, you got to sit and listen, and just don't joke around. Listen to what she's got to say to you. And I did. And that's what we got to do. So
Man, like it's weird because my parents never, they just completely avoided the subject. That's probably why I'm so freaking awkward. But
right.
I'll tell you a quick story, which was like probably one of my most embarrassing moments. And so my dad's giving me a ride, and we didn't have a lot of money, so my dad had kind of just like this hoopty that was just like falling apart. and it was like a Saturday morning. I'll never forget this. The Saturday morning, and we're driving by. It's summertime, and there was like this yard sale that was set up. My dad's the kind of guy that he'll just stop. He's not even looking for anything. He'll just stop, whatever. So, but the problem was is that this particular yard sale was being held by all of my school's cheerleaders as they were trying to raise money for like the cheer team.
Oh yeah.
So my dad, without saying anything, just like looks to the right and sees the tables, and he's driving. And he just immediately pulls over. I'm like, Dad, no, like go. I'm like, he's like, no, check it out. And I don't want to tell him the reason why I don't want to
Right.
stop there. And of course he pulls over, and now I'm getting out, and my dad just being my dad, browsing around the tables and making me get out of the car, and all the cheerleaders are there, and they're seeing my dad's crappy ride and me and my dad just I'm just like, man, just kill me right now. Like, this is horrible. Like, like they knew, not obviously, but they knew who I was, but I wasn't, they didn't talk to me or anything like that. And
Right.
they're giggling and laughing and stuff. And I'm just like, man, my life is over. But like, I mean, I'm sure there's other stories that I have when I was a kid that my parents would, kind of, even still to this day, my dad does stupid stuff that maybe will put me on a spot that embarrasses me in front of somebody that's fairly attractive. And
Oh yeah, my dad's kind of the same way.
Yeah.
He'll literally, he lived in Tennessee for a couple of years, and he loved to go to the women's basketball and baseball games and softball games, and literally he just randomly just start talking to these younger girls sometimes, and I'm like, Dad, they are too young. Please just don't embarrass me and my daughters or anything when we're all together. It's like, seriously, you don't need to be all nice to everybody all the time, and it's like, just chill, Dad. Just chill.
Josh,
like,
so who embarrassed you as a kid when it came to the girls?
himself.
Yeah.
I mean, probably no, dude. I was a Mac, like hitting like 13, 14. I was a Mac.
Stacy's mom.
Yeah.
If anything, I mean, I have to say my mom, and it wasn't intentional. It was just how she was. She was loud, and I'd be somewhere like at the YMCA, trying to talk to a couple girls, and all of a sudden, like, she'd come in looking for me, and come up the back door, Joshua, like, announced. It's like, oh my, and like Jensen said, it's like, oh my fucking God, and like, you're like, oh, I don't know who that is. It's some crazy lady.
Yeah.
Come here now. It's like, God. So like, my dad wasn't around. I was going to say and bust my balls. My uncles were usually quiet. My boys would just be like, if they knew you liked you, they go up and like, dude, he wants to get with you. Like, what's up? And I mean, it helped a lot, but not really embarrassed that much when I was younger. I mean, till this day, I mean, I do stupid shit. Not much embarrasses me, to be honest with you. Didn't really back then either.
That's good. That's really good. So I want to thank you guys for your input on this, because I mean, definitely, I mean, I think it's something that we all kind of need to know. Even if you guys are watching, and hopefully you'll learn some stuff out of this. Especially Josh's view. I mean, he's got 2 daughters. I mean, they'll both be married soon. So I mean, you never know.
Oh, don't go that far. Not yet.
Someday it's gonna happen. Yo,
Yeah.
look, I texted during prom, and it wasn't even her prom. And like looking, and like all of a sudden, like, my face got hot, my eyes started getting puffy, and like hammer down. And even my youngest, my 12-year-old, was like, and this kid bust my balls left and right. She's like, she's me when I was young, and she's like, "You good, bro?" Yeah. And I go in the basement. I think I text you guys like, "Yo, what the fuck? Like, what's going on?" And like, it's different. But again, at that point, I was glad that very late in the season, for her develop, like, getting into boys and stuff. But better late than never, I started listening and let that whole aggressive, like, I'll fucking shoot you in the fucking
Right.
know she's protected if she's there. But I also know that I'm not going to be there every step of the way, and there's going to be awkward positions she's put in, and there might be some physical awkward positions she's put in, and she needs to know what she does and options and how to defend herself. That was the martial arts. she knows how to do that. She's smart enough that she doesn't have to give into like these pressures and stuff. So I tell you and I tell everybody in there, mistake. And like you said, 1,000,000 mistakes. I've made 1,015,000, hey, and I'll be the first to admit that, dude. I mean, I feel like early childhood, I wasn't the greatest father, but keep that door open. Keep the line of communication open for sure.
Scott, what's the status right now? Like, have you met the boy? Like, what are you planning on doing?
I have not met this boy. I know of the boy because he is in the sports. I mean, I know, and she's a cheerleader. So, I mean, I've been to a lot of the games. So, I mean, I know a lot of the boys that are out there, but I don't know them personally. So, I mean, I would like to get to know him, and kind of talk to him if anything, just to kind of get to know him. I mean, I'm not going to be like, hey, if you hurt my daughter, I'm going to break your legs or anything, but I'm just going to talk to him. I just would like to say, hey, you want to date my daughter? That's cool. I just want to know a little bit about you. What's your intentions? Are you planning on just dating? Do you want to get to know her more? Do you want to talk to her? What's the whole way that you want to go about this? And that's about it. Go ahead, Josh.
How old is she?
She is going to be 17 soon.
Bro, you should hire him and pay him for one day of work and see how he does.
See how he laughs,
right?
Yeah, dude, come on, dude. It's 17. You could bullshit your way around anybody, dude. Like, come on, like honestly, if I were you and what I do now, and even my wife pushed this, have him come over and hang out. That way, you see his demeanor, you see how he acts. The first, second, third time he's going to be able to front it, but eventually they get comfortable and they see how it is. Like, I walked in one day and I told my daughter, I'm like, when you're in my house, you be respectful of me, and your sister. So I walk in the living room and it's like a little too close. And like, I tell you, Scott, when that temper flared, it was like, move now. Like immediately, like this kid stays his distance. Like, and it's been that way since. But you do have to, they have to know boundaries when they're there. But I would have them come over, and that way you get a better feel. Like you say, hey, come out, give me here doing this, and you kind of get a feel. But again, don't, like, a lot of guys like go to that whole masculine, like, it's my territory. But no, you like let him feel comfortable so you can get him, feel him out. Because again, dude, I was a bullshit artist when I was 17. I could have told you whatever the fuck you wanted to hear, and you would have loved me.
Well, yeah, you could. I mean, I think nowadays, I mean, yeah, like you said, I told her that he can come over here and talk. I mean, I told her, I said, I'll go out in the shop, do some work, or I'll cut the grass or whatever, I'll dig a hole out in the middle of the backyard. I don't care. I mean, I'll do something, I told her, I said, but I give her space so that way she can talk, and I've told her, I mean, I think she's more worried about her brothers. Because, her older brothers, he has issues, and she knows that he has issues, and I think she worries that he will, go his ways. And I said, well, you just gotta, if this kid isn't gonna like your brothers, then maybe he's not the right one for you. It's all about, they have to know, people have to know this stuff, and they have to know the whole family before, I'm not going to sit here and say, invite, have a big party and invite everybody over and then invite this kid over. I mean, my family's nuts. I mean, they're crazy as heck, but I mean, literally, I would not sick them, right away on this boy. I mean, some of them would just sit there and ask him questions nonstop. So, I mean, I'll give him some time, if she wants to talk to him and go far further with it. So,
my Ira boyfriend.
No, just the way I meant it's like see what his work ethic is like,
Yeah, I mean, I could, yeah. I mean, that would be a good.
Kids have a work ethic. You know what I mean? It's like,
I just say, come work for me for free one day, and we'll see how you last. If you last all day, you can date my daughter. There we go.
But see, that's the reason why he'd probably, if he came to work with the guys that I work with, he wouldn't survive the day. He'd be crying. These guys are ball busters to guys they don't know, grown men, never mind a kid that's dating my daughter.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I mean, it would be something. It'd be something to see. Definitely. Okay, so we had a great topic there. Now, I know
Now,
I know JC's wearing his lucky jock strap. So let's talk about football. Football is here. We had college football yesterday. We got pro football starting this week. So have either of you guys put into a fantasy football?
I'm
nah.
actually checking my lineup right now. Yeah. So I started. Why does he keep dodging the topic?
What does someone keeps calling me, and every time they call me, my phone goes black
It's
out.
your wife. She's probably like, get out of the attic, please.
Mom, get out of my attic, please. Mom's attic. I'm a Spud's wallet. That's the truth.
So I
Company, I cut grass for $25 a week. Mom's basement. Sorry, go ahead, Jensen.
no,
sorry.
that that was so random.
Okay. So
well,
football here. Okay. So you have a fantasy league that you're in, right, Jensen? And so did you get some good picks? There we go.
I think so. Honestly, I really don't watch football. I haven't watched football in the last few years. I don't have a favorite football team. I think if I were to pick a sport, it'd be baseball, but even that I don't watch much. But anybody could play fantasy football. You don't even have to watch it. You just got to see what they did, their stats, and it's all on a computer. It's all done for you.
But don't you want to know who you got and if they're good or not?
Yeah, I mean, there is. I do get a little bit into it. Like this year, I had the second overall pick, so
Nice.
you get the list of like the top ranking players, and then of course you kind of like, if you're curious about one of them, you read up on them a little bit and you see how they did last year, and you compare the stats to somebody else. A lot of it is chance, a lot of it's luck. You maybe gamble on a rookie player that supposedly is supposed to be good this year. You get a good quarterback. You try to get a solid core of players, but aside of the whole like analytical things when it comes to the way fantasy football works, I've been invited. I was invited to join a league in 2007,
Okay.
and the reason why I'm still in it isn't because of fantasy football. It's because of the people that I'm in the league with. Like, a lot of, you could do them online, so you don't have to meet up, you don't have to be all together. But we make it a rule that if you're going to play, you have to show up on draft day. So we meet up at somebody's house. All 12 of us are out there. We're just a group of friends that hang out. Most of the time, we only see each other once that year, but it's a good time for us to catch up. We eat afterwards. We have a lot of food. Some guys drink, kind of shoot the shit a little bit. And it's just like a whole day experience, which is really, really awesome. So I do it more because of that and less of the whole fan base of fantasy football sports. But I'll be watching today. I don't have much going on. I got a lot of work done yesterday, and today's kind of like my lazy day, so I'll end up doing that.
Nice. So I am in the league. I was been in the league for the last 3 years. I had the third draft pick this year, and I picked Austin Eckler. So I got some
You got
good
Austin
guys.
Eckler.
Yeah, I got some good guys this year. But yeah, I mean, I do it just for fun, like kind of what you're saying is just fun to kind of get to know some people and just help out, and have fun. And just, I don't follow pro football a lot. I don't really have a professional team that I follow. I follow college more than I do anything. If you follow me on Instagram, I've been to Notre Dame in the last 2 weeks for a couple games. So I've been, I go to Notre Dame a lot more than I do any professional game. I've been to one professional game, and I've been to college games more than anything. So
How far is the stadium from where you live?
2.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not that far. Quick drive.
Do you stay or you drive back home the same day, or?
This week I just drove, and then we drove back. So literally we left at, it was 11 o'clock yesterday and got back home at like 11 o'clock last night after the game. So
Yeah. I'm going to take Josh to a Patriots game.
yeah, he likes Patriots.
We've been to a Patriots game. That's the one sporting event in Massachusetts, New England I haven't been to. It just wasn't something that was offered. So you got to figure, like when I was younger, no one liked the Patriots, like even in the Bledsoe era. And then when the Brady era started, you couldn't get tickets that weren't like astronomical. And I just I feel like I was offered before, but it was just so far out. But I would like to do and experience it. You know, it'd be
Next time I get tickets,
How much are
I'll,
the tickets there?
now I don't know, but back then, dude, you were talking like a minimum of like $400 a seat, most.
Wow. Yeah, that's high.
Yeah, I don't know what what a basic ticket would cost nowadays, but I know a lot of guys where I work at are season ticket holders, so every now and then they'll throw some tickets up for sale. And
Ooh, you gotta let me
yeah,
know.
no, I'll take you. Yeah, I'll take you for sure.
I do. I mean, just think of it like this: like NBA. NBA is not like a big market up here. You know, like the Celtics. Like I'm an avid Celtics fan. I do basketball more than I do football. But just to give you an idea, so the Celtics have been, title contenders for like 2-3 years. We all know they haven't won, but the seats that I get vary from like 130 to like 700 because it's variable pricing. So just to give you an idea, if Celtics tickets are for that, you can imagine what past tickets are going. They're not great. There's still a market for them because they're a very marketable team even out of the break. So
Right.
Yeah,
because fans, can't like Brady was like that boyfriend that you just can't get over. Like we talked about like high school sweethearts and stuff. That's
Right.
the high school sweetheart.
he's coming back.
Puppy.
He's your high school
They-
sweetheart. That's all right.
But that's what I mean. Yeah, you know, he's just that guy you can't get over. You know, it's like please come back.
I actually drafted him in the 11th round of my fantasy football league.
Really?
And because
Nice.
I think he's going to end up coming back. I don't know if he's going to come back to the Patriots. I think he's going to play again because he doesn't have Giselle holding him back anymore.
Right.
I think he goes to the. Doesn't he own part of the Raiders right now?
Yeah.
But that was the big thing that he was going to go to the Raiders because it would be like that whole let me go. Like he proved it. Like the big thing up here was like, can Belichick do it without Brady, and can Brady do it without Belichick?
Right.
Brady proved it. He did it. Now it's almost like, can he do it again with a shitty team?
Yeah.
You know, Belichick still hasn't proved it. You know.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting year. I'll tell you that much. A very interesting year. So, I mean, football all around. I mean, you guys follow college? You guys,
I want to. I don't know how. There's so many teams. I don't know who.
what's your closest team? That's what you got to look at. Like, what's your closest team? Is there? I mean, like me, I have University of Toledo by me. So I mean, we have the Toledo Rockets by us.
Missionary school would be BC.
Okay.
Like if you're talking like actual like Jensen, we're talking like ranking schools, not like just like state schools because Mass are up there. But like, I mean, I used to follow college football, college sports in general. Like I love college basketball, and the reason why I like college more than pro is just because they're playing for something. Like a lot of these kids know they're never gonna play. They're not going pro, so they're playing the hot stuff. But for us, I honestly think it's like if it was a big market team, you know, Boston College would probably be the big one. You know?
Okay. Boston College. Okay. Well, I hope we beat the shit out of them this year.
You do, but you know what's funny? That was always the mass game, the Irish versus the Eagles.
Yeah.
And I used to sell programs, the magazine programs in BC. I lived down the street from Boston College. I'd go up there and I'd sell the programs. And I used to make a killing on the Notre Dame game. A killing. It was awesome. Virginia Tech and Notre Dame were always the big games I would make money on.
Oh yeah, I mean, we've sold out we sold out last week in Ireland, and we sold out this week at home, and we've already have 3 other games sold out for Irish. They're always trying to sell out. I think that's one good thing. They try to fill the stands as much as they can. So I mean, like literally, I just got a text earlier this morning, like, "Hey, you want to go to this game? You know, we'll give it." Normally, tickets are about $100. They were sending me a thing for like $56 a ticket. So it's like they want to fill the seats as much as they can. So, and that's a good thing for a college team to actually push to get their seats filled. You know,
I heard like college tailgating, and I've never been. I heard it's crazy, bro.
Dude, at Notre Dame Stadium, the whole front of the stadium, there's a big parking lot because the football stadium and the basketball stadium are together. And there's a big parking lot in front that is just a tailgating area.
Huh.
Literally, they just took that and made it a tailgating area for football. So literally, you got this massive, huge, almost like a Walmart-sized parking lot full of just tents and beer, and it goes on. Like, it starts at literally, you can get in there at 6:30 in the morning before game day. So, I mean, if it's a late game, dude, you got 12 hours of drinking sitting there to just sit there, drink, and tailgate, and it's just huge to know that that's literally what goes on there,
I wish I had all that time in my life to spend all day
Yeah.
on a Sunday.
Yeah, I can't spend 12 hours there drinking. Sorry.
Jensen, we got to do it. Dude. We got to go to a pass game. But see, I would feel guilty sitting there for 12 hours.
Yeah, I know. We could definitely go. I don't know about the whole tailgating thing though.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Drinking, because I used to pound him before the Celtics game and get him and just be like,
Yeah. It's like, I saw a game yesterday. I don't even remember it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I came out of the garden one day and they had the people, the guys that play the drums on the buckets.
Right.
They just sit the street performers. Guys playing, dude. And he's playing a beat and there's a huge crowd and I'm half in the bag and I jump in the middle of the crowd and the bucket start doing like I'm gonna break dance and everybody's going crazy. Moment. And then I do like this half-ass cartwheel.
Right.
And then the crowd just disperses. But that day, like after that game and making an ass of myself, like I almost got ran over by a bike over by MIT. And I didn't drink so much after that during the games. Now I'm kind of like I'm like a one beer hitter. Like when I go with my daughters a lot now. This is when I used to go with my buddies. My daughters usually go out to games with me.
Nice. That is nice.
We didn't talk about any
Yeah.
that week. This pod.
I mean, it's
Hey, you know what I was thinking? Like when we go, well, I don't know about Josh yet, but Scott,
Josh is going.
if we go to Chicago, I wonder if there's any sports teams playing a game that night.
I think the day before we come and Saturday there's a baseball game going on, I think. Because I think, but I mean, it would be nice to go to a game.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I checked. I looked for the Bulls, and I think their exhibition starts like a week later. Like that. But yeah, you probably got the White Sox and the Cubs. One of them will probably be home.
Yeah, I have to check that out.
We'd have to check that out. Maybe we'll go without Josh.
And Scott, I have to buy. I feel like almost compelled. I have to buy you a genuine slice of pizza. I have to buy it.
I would love to have a regular slice of pizza there.
I was the only one between the three of us that didn't order a slice.
I know. That pizza sucked. I hate to tell you, we've been to Chicago and Chicago pizza sucks. There you go.
Maybe the deep dish, man. But I'm not a deep dish person, so it's like I rate I don't know. It does suck. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that was just a fluke, man.
A roadside stand,
That was a
yeah.
fluke, yeah. I don't even think I think the kid lived there, and you were like, "Hey, do you have any pizza in the freezer?" Like, and he was like, I think.
We'll look for, if you come, Josh, we'll look for somewhere good. Okay.
I tell
If
you,
not, then we'll just eat without you.
I do want to come. I enjoyed it out there. I enjoyed we did. I wouldn't say bar hopping, but we hit a few places while we were out there, and I'll get out there, man.
It'll be interesting. So if you know me and JC and maybe Josh, if he comes, we'll be in Chicago in September. So we got some great stuff coming in the end of September. You never know what we'll get to see. Maybe Josh will come down. He is like a ghost. He lives in his mom's attic, and so you never know.
Dude, I'm walking my dog this morning.
Yeah.
And as I'm walking my dog, I'm seeing the leaves falling.
Oh yeah,
leaves falling. I'm like, holy shit! And for some reason, like I'm not paying attention in general to the ground. I look around, I'm like, holy shit! Like I know
I think fall is here.
yeah, we've cooled down. We're having like the 70 to 80 degree afternoons, but in the morning, man, it's sweater weather. Like it really is. Like I left the other day in a hoodie, so it's like I don't know if winter's gonna start early or if this is just like maybe this is just normal fall, or a pre-fall. But I couldn't believe it, man. I'm like, damn, I'm like, guys are gonna be doing cleanups, like probably outside your way, guys are gonna be doing cleanups soon, Squat.
We don't really start cleanups usually till after the expo. At the end of October we start, and we usually go till December. But this year might change, and I feel like it's been cooler this year, wetter this year. We're actually now predicted for the next week and a half 90-degree weather, so it's gonna change a lot of stuff, and I don't know if it's gonna push summer longer or if it'll change into
it's
dropping the leaves.
I think it's gonna that heat wave is gonna happen real quick, and as soon as it comes, it's gonna go right back directly to fall. It's gonna
everything though too, and you're gonna have an early drop.
Right. I mean, I still have some seeding jobs to do, which I'm trying to get them done as soon as possible, and just to be on the safe side, because I do think that when it comes, it's coming, and it's going to be here. It's going to get cold quick. It's going to be. I feel like December is just going to be nothing but cold and snow, and it's going to be odd because usually we don't have snow here till January. So I mean, it's coming, and it was just kind of like the other day I went in and bought snowplow fluid, and the lady was like, "Oh, you're stocking up," and I'm like, "Yeah, because usually during the season I can't find it. It's hard for me to find, and I'm getting it now because who knows what'll happen, how quick it's going to come or not, I mean, usually I don't put my plow on until January 1st, but I mean, it might be December 1st this year."
I tell you, we bumped up. I wasn't going to start too heavy with the snow stuff yet because we've been slammed with the particular projects we've been on, and I got my mobile guy going there next week to start getting things ready. Like I bought new vibrators for the sanders. All the pushers need stuff. I'm trying to close a deal with Caterpillar for a new track machine with a pusher. I'm going to look at a loader package deal. But then I have pending contracts out, which is kind of pissing me off. I give everybody till like the second week of September, which is, quickly closing in. And it's like, all right, I want to get that done. Cause same thing, like, we've gotten calls nonstop for grading and reseeding, and I want those, but I have this job we're on, and there's just so many fucking bumps in the road with this job. Like we're already 2 weeks behind on it. This is what I sent you guys the quick clip of the other day. It's just the front should have taken us no longer than 3 days to a week. We're on week 3 of it just because of all like the change orders and things had come up, and then we have another one that's coming up probably 2 hours from here that we have to deal with. And then I want to squeeze those lawn jobs in, man, because those lawn jobs for me, the residential lawn jobs are fucking coin, man. They're straight up coin.
Oh, yeah.
Like, scrape loam seed. Like there's so much money. I want to get those in.
Yeah, I think them are the easy jobs, the quick ones. The quick ones are always easy. And definitely good money. So yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. But if you're seeing leaves, dude, yeah, it's coming.
It's right there. Like before I got on the call with you guys, I'm like, holy crap, seeing them drop. I was like, oh boy.
Yeah. So just be ready, be prepared, people. This was a great episode. We learned about dating Josh's daughters and my daughter. And if Jensen ever has a kid and a daughter, better watch out. She's got 2 good uncles that are coming after you. So we might be in different areas, but watch out.
Jensen needs a girl.
That's coming. Don't worry, that's coming. I'm gonna hook him up with some Chicago chick when we're in Chicago. No. I'm gonna find him a Chicago chick.
She's gonna have like one of those thick accents, like, "Hey, get over here."
He'll
come up and rob us, and then I'll be like, "Hey, do you want to date Jensen? Because he really needs somebody."
So Scott,
hey, yeah, you want to go study, huh?
He's gonna pick Jensen when he goes to Chicago. There you go.
Maybe she could recommend some good pizza.
Yeah, maybe. You never know. Well, thank you guys for being on. thank you all for listening and watching. I know we all live in the attic sometimes, in mom's attic, but hey,
So
at least we're on. Yep, we're on. We have some great information. So thanks, guys. Enjoy us. Keep watching. Like it says down at the bottom, like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know how the hell we're doing. I mean, I think we're doing awesome. I think we need to get Joe Rogan on here and then put him to the test. So, Joe, if you're listening, or if anybody knows how to get a hold of Joe Rogan, tell him I want him on here. We're gonna put him to the test.
We're gonna steal all his viewers too.
Yeah.
1 million viewers.
There are 1 million viewers today only.
Only certain people will get that reference.
Yeah. Enjoy, guys. Enjoy your Labor Day, and we'll talk to you later this week. We got a great episode coming Thursday, so hopefully you guys will be on Thursday night at 8 p.m. and you're going to learn some stuff, and it's going to be even better, awesome episode that week too. So later, guys. See ya.
Take care, everyone.